Did Rahul Gandhi stoke the North-South fire?
For the first 15 years, I was a member of parliament in the north. So I had got used to a different type of politics.
Did he pitch the south of India against the north of India?
I found that people are interested in issues, and not just superficially, but going into detail in issues.
The BJP has slammed Rahul with what they say is divide and rule politics.
हम सब एक ही देश के वासी हैं। क्या अपने ही देश में अपने ही नागरिकों का, अपने ही प्रदेशों का अपमान कोई भी हिंदुस्तानी कर सकता है?
Rahul Gandhi sparks a divisive storm. Top story on To The Point this evening. All right, viewers, that's our top story on To The Point this evening. What really happened? What made Rahul Gandhi say what he did? Because by the virtue of that one statement, he's once again invoked something that has gone down in the annals of Indian history of a pitched battle between the South and the North. Was he playing into divisive politics? What was it? Take a look.
I had got used to a different type of politics. I found that people are interested in issues, and not just superficially, but going into detail.
Did the Congress MP Rahul Gandhi rake up the eternal North versus South debate by insinuating that people of the South are not as superficial when it comes to politics?
For the first 15 years, I was a member of parliament in the north. So I had got used to a different type of politics. I found that people are interested in issues, and not just superficially, but going into detail in issues. And recently I was talking to some students in the United States, and I said, I really enjoy going to Kerala and I really love going to Wayanad. It is not just the affection, because affection of course is there, but it is the way you do your politics. If I might say so, the intelligence with which you do your politics. So for me it has been a learning experience and a pleasure.
It is important to note that Rahul Gandhi had lost his seat in Amethi, Uttar Pradesh to Smriti Irani while winning from the constituency of Wayanad, Kerala. The BJP has gone all out, slamming the comment, terming it divisive politics and trying to pitch the North against the South.
वो संसदीय क्षेत्र जिसने 50 साल उनके परिवार को आशीर्वाद दिया, उस संसदीय क्षेत्र का अपमान करके वो अपने आप को गौरवान्वित महसूस करते हैं। मुझे लगता है इससे ज्यादा तुच्छ राजनीति हाल फिलहाल में किसी ने देखी नहीं होगी।
The Congress meanwhile hit back, saying it is the BJP which is dividing India.
Look, every politician when he goes to a particular state tends to make a specific remark to the voters of that state. We see this, for example, with Mr. Modi going to Assam and talking about tea. So obviously, when Rahul Gandhi comes to Kerala, he will appreciate Kerala voters. The only Tukde gang in power in this country are the BJP that's dividing this nation.
5 states are up for elections in 2 months. West Bengal, Assam, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. 3 of these states are from the South. Will Rahul Gandhi's statement lead to political gain in the South? That remains to be seen. But this one statement has re-emphasized that proverbial line dividing the South and the North of India. Bureau Report, India Today. So what did really Rahul Gandhi mean to say? Was it just sour grapes? Because he has lost in the North. And there are 3 states going into elections in just 2 months in the South. Political gain? Which one was it? Or did he really mean it? Where he said that voters in the South are not as superficial, are intelligent and more interested in issues. Cutting across to our panelists, Guru Prakash from the BJP is with me, as well as Ajoy Kumar, Congress spokesperson. I also have Manisha Prem, political analyst. Mr. Kumar, my question is to you, sir. What does that actually mean? In one, sweeping statement, it seems that Mr. Rahul Gandhi believes that voters of the North are not as intelligent as the South, are superficial when it comes to their politics, and are not really interested in issues like the South voters are.
Preeti, just a small correction. I spent a lot of years studying medicine, so a doctor in that, I think in the would not, I'm not an egoist on that issue. But
Sorry,
just,
sir. Yes, our bad.
Yeah,
We will
no
correct your our bad. Dr. Kumar, go ahead, sir.
I didn't mean it any other way. I was just flagging that.
No,
so
sir,
thank you. Really
conceded. We
appreciate it.
concede. We are just changing your designation as you
Thanks.
speak.
No, that's cool. I mean, I didn't mean it in that way at all. But the important part, I think, is the BJP toolkit is out. The original Tukde Gang is the Bharatiya Janata Party. And look, if Mr. Gandhi's statement is offensive only to North, he didn't say it for the East, he didn't say it for the West. I just don't get this. This is Mr. Jaishankar, Mr. Hardeep Puri, Smriti Irani, Dharmendra Pradhan, the BJP Kapil Mishra toolkit immediately got into action, Mr. Nadda, and started again propagating. The issue is that they don't want to discuss joblessness. This whole country has been fighting elections and political battles, and we are going to pay a heavy price because we are only fighting culture wars. It's only cultural war, it's on non-issues. There is not a single discussion. Have they discussed anything on the petrol price, diesel hike? 250 farmers have died, no discussion on that. No discussion on the greatest unemployment India has ever seen. No discussion on the GDP nosediving. And then this whole toolkit of, because Mr. Kapil Mishra has made it famous, so I would name it as the BJP Kapil Mishra toolkit, gets into action, and it starts on this false propaganda. Mr. Modi goes to Assam and says something on Assam tea. The press is not questioning the Prime Minister that what did he do to protect Indian tea. And here, we are always questioned on such innocuous thing. You go to Kerala, you say that Kerala, the politics in Kerala is issue-based.
Okay.
You go to. So these are political. These are not only political statements. And Mr. Gandhi was appreciating. He was appreciating Kerala. No, it doesn't mean that he's insulting. It's insulting.
Okay. Dr. Kumar.
So-called Smriti Irani obviously has got to get takes offense on anything because as long as it's not on unemployment and it's not on diesel petrol price or it's not on the farm loss. So my question is the BJP toolkit. You see the Twitter, the BJP toolkit is out and Delhi police will file an FIR against them because what is this toolkit saying?
All right. Sir, and when you say that, the toolkit, okay, yesterday we know there was nothing wrong in that toolkit as well, but coming down to the moot point, sir, the fact is he did say, I have served 15 years in the North as a member of Parliament. There is a huge difference where the South is concerned. Sir, Dr. Kumar, you as a voter from the North, don't you take offense? Do you think you're not as intelligent, not as interested in issues? Do you not think it's an insult to the voter of the North, sir? And I'll bring in Guru Prakash. Please answer and Guru Prakash comes in.
No. So first question is it for me, Preeti, or is it for Guru
Sir,
Prakash?
it's for you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So question is when the Prime Minister goes and says, Bihar ke log bahut bahadur hai, iska matlab hai desh ke baki log bahadur nahi hai. When he goes to Assam and says, you guys have shown the Bengal, you have shown the culture, so that means rest of India is uncultured. I mean, you want to create this toolkit and this Twitter storm and this nonsense? You tell me when Prime Minister says that
Dr. Kumar, I'll bring in Mr. Prakash, but that was not the case, sir. He did draw a parallel. No, sir. If he had said that the voters of Kerala are intelligent, not interested in, superficial politics and are interested in issues, that's different. He said, I have seen a marked difference. I was an MP before in the North and now in the South. He said so, sir. So there was a comparison drawn.
One sec. So Preeti, why don't you have an interview with Mr. Gandhi and ask him on other issues also?
So when can I come and interview him?
On the hard-working culture of North India.
One sec. Dr. Kumar, I will be most interested. Sir, Dr. Kumar, I will be most interested. Most interested. You give me a date. I'm very happy to interview him.
Okay, 1 sec. 5 seconds. Let me tell you. Have you ever heard him when he spoke on Hathras rape issue? On the people of Hathras standing?
So we've just played it out. Dr. Kumar, that's unfair. We played it out.
Can I complete, madam? Can I complete?
Please,
when he speaks on the farmer issue, is it the North Indian farmer who is not fighting? So the question again is, if the opposition wants to create the toolkit of false umbrage, because they don't want to discuss on joblessness, they don't want to discuss on petrol, diesel, on 250 farmers dying, on Chinese sitting on our necks. then
Okay.
you will create this unnecessary debate and cultural war.
So no, we've debated everything on this show, so it's unfair that you say that we are being selective. We've never been selective.
I'm just saying
Mr.
that I'm not
Prakash,
saying
Mr. Prakash,
you.
please respond. You want to, be selective, pick and choose what you want to get onto, and not look at the larger issues. It was said in passing; it should have been taken like that.
Preeti, I have been patiently listening to Dr. Kumar, and I completely sympathize with his predicament today. Someone of his caliber who has spent years in research have to defend a man who says, "This morning I woke up at night." So this is something which is really tragic. Now, Dr. Kumar was also time and again mentioning about toolkit. Dr. Saab, let me make this very clear in front of you and also in front of the viewers of this show that as a BJP man, as a party worker, our toolkit is the Constitution of India. That is our only toolkit. We have complete, unquestionable faith in that toolkit, which was formulated by none other than Baba Saheb Ambedkar. That is the Constitution of India. Now, coming to the issue, sir, it was Mr. Rahul Gandhi who goes to Assam and then he derides the people who indulge in trade from Gujarat. So I seriously don't understand this. And let me also remind you, sir, he did not leave his North India seat voluntarily. He lost. He was kicked out by the people. It was the people's mandate. In 2019 general election, Rahul Gandhi lost Amethi to Smriti Irani. Please accept this fact. He instead goes to the parliament from a safe seat, which has been in Congress's kitty since 2009. Why are you not able to reconcile with this truth? I seriously don't understand. You should also, I'm giving you an unsolicited advice, see the tweet of our Honorable Foreign Minister, Mr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, who has categorically stated, I come from South India. My Karambhumi has been North India. I am in the Rajya Sabha from West India. And I represent the entire India. So this is something which is really interesting. Now, talking about superficial. Again, this word was also used by your leader. Let me tell you what superficial means, sir. He goes to Puducherry and says that he will give fishermen their own ministry, unmindful of the fact that he has already raised question in the parliament with the Ministry of Fisheries. There is already a Ministry of Fisheries which has been in the Narendra Modi-led central government since 2019. So I seriously don't expect this level of discourse from a leader of the grand old party. I think you should seriously do some introspection. You have seen, you have been marginalized in the local body polls in Gujarat. Look at the position that you are in. So instead of doing that Atmanthan, instead of listening to your own leaders who have been time and again asserting of a rethink on the post of president, on the rethink on the leadership strategy, instead of doing that, you are beating around the bush. We have debated on this very show, on budget, on employment, on every other similar issues. But this is something which is completely, as a person from Bihar, Preeti, as a person from Bihar, I am also offended. As a North Indian voter, what does he intend to say? Do I not have sense? Do I not have the intellect? Do I not have the brains to comprehend political issues? This is completely unfortunate and he must apologize for this.
So sir, both of you have got equal time is all I'm saying. Manisha Priyam, I want to bring her in right now, our political analyst. Ms. Priyam, would you reckon this was a self-goal of sorts, or would you think this was said in passing and much ado about nothing?
So the Miss Priyam that you refer to is actually a Dr. Priyam.
Okay, ma'am, we're going to change your...
to tell you.
I will change your designation as well while you speak, ma'am. Go ahead, Dr. Priyam.
No, Preeti, no. All in humor. All in good humor. All in good humor. No ego about this. None whatsoever.
Man changed.
But
it's on air. Go ahead.
Yes. That as an Preeti, please don't. I feel very.
No, ma'am. Please go ahead. Make your point.
At the same time, I have an academic point to make. The academic point is that yes, there is indeed a vast difference between parts of the country that lie to the south of the Vindhyas and parts that lie to the north. My academic work done at the London School of Economics is one of those that tells you that this divide is very high in social development indicators, and it is a fact of Indian social development or social policy history. It's not something that I as a Bihari feel humiliated about. I've done a Bihar-Andhra comparison. I'm doing currently a Bihar-Karnataka comparison. I look at Kerala. So it is a mystery. India is a mystery. India is a mystery of immense pluralism. India is a mystery that despite divergences in geography, we carry on as a country. We are immensely proud of the variety that is there. It surprises me that, states in the north, all of them have their own, very close to each other, all of them have their own languages, a Kerala, a Tamil or a Telugu or a Kannada. If you come to the north, for example, we have a larger Hindi sphere. Today, for me, these are all matters of our diversity, and I'm proud of our diversity, including our caste-based diversity.
Right.
I would also say that the only thing that where Mr. Gandhi seems to have made a mistake is that rather than alluding to this history, rather than alluding to this diversity, he seems to be an original wanderer. Oh, I was in the north, but now I've come to the south, and I find that there is this difference. Had he been referring to the history of his own party, had he been even telling us that Mysore, for example, gained independence after 15th August 1947. They were not flying the Union Jack, they were not flying the Indian color on 15th August 1947. In fact, students at the Maharaja's College, including the prestigious H.Y. Sharda Prasad, who went on to become Indira Gandhi's press advisor. So if he was alluding to the facts of history that his own party has been a flag bearer of, then I would have considered him to be a legitimate heir to the prestigious and historical party in which he is. But if he is going to talk like a naive wanderer, then I am going to not even reserve a footnote. I am going to give him the tourist wandering sense which travels from the north to the south. He has his own right to wonder about the differences, but systematic engagement with the party, grand old party of which he is now the heir, was what I would have expected. I find that falling short in many ways. But I would affirm once again that yes, there are differences. But differences are a matter of pride. Diversity of Indian caste situation is a matter of pride for me. And I'm absolutely delighted and honored that my country has these differences.
All right, Dr. Kumar, I'll come back to you, sir. With what Dr. Priyam said, it seems, at least prima facie, that what Mr. Gandhi said was superficial and surface, sir.
Look, Manisha ji is an extremely well-informed person. The question again is from a political perspective, and we were answering on the politics. I heard Mr. Guru Prakash saying he's from Bihar. I'm originally from Karnataka, and I fought won my Lok Sabha seat from Jharkhand. So the question again is, it's not a question of what you're feeling. The question is when you want to get offended for the sake of getting offended and creating a narrative is what we are trying to say. The question again is, has the Prime Minister or any of the BJP people gone to different states and said, you're the most intelligent state, Bengal's intellectuals have left the country? Doesn't mean the rest of India is unintellectual. First question. The other question is, I think Mr. Gandhi was alluding to the discussions which the politics needs to have. First of all, and instead of, we are not there, and you rightly said that there are discussions on your channel on joblessness, on price rise, on China and everything else. But Preeti, the fact is that in the past 7 years, we are fighting only cultural wars. The fact is that majority out of 100 debates, 90 is on personalities and issues.
Fair enough. I have very little time.
And it is one second, let me complete. And it is having a terrible effect on the future of the nation.
Dr. Kumar, you made your point. I need to go to Mr. Prakash. Okay, Mr. Prakash, look at bigger issues, sir. Is what is being said. Let all of this pass. Okay, Mr. Prakash.
About the greatest drop in GDP. They are not offended
Mr. Prakash.
They are offended on this.
Yes.
Sir, come in, sir.
Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar. Sir, please listen to me now. Sir, a Neta's job is to keep the whole country united, sir, and not create these false equivalences. But Mr. Gandhi, unfortunately, is a habitual offender. He's the same person who on Republic Day had voiced his opinion in favor of country's division. During tractor, no, sir, I did not interrupt when you were speaking, sir.
Please finish. I don't have much. Okay, can I just have Guru Prakash, sir? Sir, 20 seconds, make your point. I need to file out of the show, sir.
No. I have a fundamental problem with the politics of Mr. Rahul Gandhi when he raises question on the credibility of constitutionally mandated institution. when he raises question on the integrity of the Supreme Court of India. When Congress party loses election, he raises question on the integrity of the Election Commission of India. He raises question on CBI, ED. So this raising question on constitutionally mandated institution and creating these false narrative is unacceptable in Indian political discourse.
Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And both the doctors, we apologize. The next time you're going to get your designations corrected. Thank you. Well, the debate will carry on. The fact is we are going into an election. 5 states, 3 of them are from the south. Will it have any impact at all? Well, we don't quite know till the last vote is counted. Up next is Rahul Kanwal. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.